Do you remember the Jadoon platoon upon the moon? Oh, it's okay. No one else does either. Hello everybody, my name is ProfPixel here once again on Madman with the Box all by my lonesome to talk about Doctor Who Redacted. The second episode drop, and I know it seems just like yesterday I released the first episode review, but I had to review it even though I am not in my normal station at all, but even out of town we have to persevere, keep things pumping out, and this is one of them. But if you're not familiar with Doctor Who Redacted, it is an audio drama podcast by BBC Sounds, and it is really, really good. Just to give you a few non-spoiler thoughts of the episode, it's really hard for me to decide if I like this one more than the first one, because the first one is such a strong start, but I feel like this continues it in such a beat, it's perfect. But that aside, I want to also say there's some moments that I kind of think they are leaning into like fellow kids, but I really don't think it overtakes the series at all. The idea behind it, the story, vastly outshines just little moments where you might go, ooh, because there's just so much good. Now, here I'm going to give you a warning. This is a serious warning, so please listen to me. If you do not want spoilers, you better run away, because I'm gonna do a pretty deep dive. I like to dig in, see what happens, and go over my thoughts on it. Now, you've had your fair warning. If you didn't listen, I can't help you anymore. Okay, this is your fault, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but it's time. We start out with Abby, as she's preparing an opening speech for the next episode of Blue Box Files, but they quickly are able to cut out because there's an interruption in the background, police cars. It seems that Shauna has neighbors named Mr. and Mrs. Khan, and their daughter was a cop, and it seems that she might have disappeared. But they don't know that. And to be frank, neither do we. But this leads to a conversation about the call with Ronnie, a character we were introduced to in the last episode. They're very intrigued, and she's been given an address to go to, and Cleo's unsure about doing it. And, well, Abby says, listen, if you're worried, most serial killers are men, so you're probably safe. But if you're not feeling safe, then you can take Jordan along with you. And they're kind of not feeling good vibrations at the moment because of family drama, but ultimately they might work that out later. But while recording, they're also listing that the Blue Box forums are still down. However, they don't need that, because they're talking about a certain episode that I really do love. Another Tenet episode, Smith and Jones, where the Royal Hope Hospital was taken to the moon, and giant rhino men called the Jadoon, well, they took over the place, kept them there. But there's no BBC News coverage. Everything that was going on about it is getting shut down. They're claiming all sorts of things. Moving on. But most of the sightings, the people there mention seeing, of course, the blue box, and, of course, that the fact that they were on the freaking moon. however, we're able to push past. There's a small moment because Cleo, we follow her mainly. She's asked to try to convince Penny Carter to keep her name on their podcast interview because they could edit it out. And Penny, I believe, wants that. But even though Cleo agrees, she just reaches Penny's voicemail, and suddenly a horrible static takes it over. And we cut away. Makes you wonder, has Penny Carter been redacted? From there, she goes home to Jordan, convinces her to tag along, and ultimately, they're going to head over to meet Ronnie. This is my favorite part of this. Because it does feel like a genuine podcast at times. Because I would know. I should know. I've been running this podcast for a while with my friends, so I should know. If I don't, then what kind of podcaster am I? That being said, on YouTube. Details. We can move past that. But this is my favorite part right here. Abby goes to a cafe and meets a Dr. Oliver Morgenstern, I believe her name, but she has to keep correcting herself because she keeps saying doctor, and they realize they're following a figure named the Doctor now, and so they need to cut that out. So she always continues Oliver, and Oliver was apparently there that day. However, he made a novel talking about the giant rhino aliens that took their hospital to the moon. And he says, I don't believe that anymore. Sorry. No, I take it all back. It's just mass hysteria. The theme of this episode is hysteria. Saying that because of how traumatic the event was, that everybody's just focusing on the same delusions. And from there, he also discusses how the event, made him lose people, like his girlfriend, because he couldn't move on, and he knows one friend, Martha Jones, who got so caught up in a man called the Doctor that she just vanished. Hearing about the Doctor and someone vanishing, Abby panics and makes an excuse to leave before calling Shauna and saying, I think Cleo might be in terrible danger. And, well, they're going to do their best to get to him, but it gets cut off right there and then. Cleo goes with Jordan to this hotel. One that's very creepy, apparently, very empty, and there's a receptionist at the front that says, oh, wow, you just need to go to floor 13. She's waiting for you. And Jordan isn't getting good vibes and thinking that maybe he's never seen this hotel before. It's time maybe to just go. But no, they go up the stairs, and the keys there's this keypad, and they go into the room. This is where everything takes a turn because Ronnie appears in a hologram and starts to give information talking about how they are very important because she's saying that she and her friends have been tracking their podcast from afar and know that the work that they do is important to them. Ronnie insists that Cleo should do something like tattoo, write, do whatever to remember the Doctor in their TARDIS. Doesn't matter if it's a man or woman. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter. They must remember the Doctor. But Cleo isn't convinced with any of this. Ronnie, while there's things going on her side, sounds like explosion, war zone over there. She's saying that they know the Doctor's gone, and they are trying to strike. Somebody because the Doctor has been removed, is trying to make a strike. And how people like Luke, Clyde, Martha, and Joe are gone. Obviously, we know Martha. If I recall correctly, sorry for a small side note, Luke, Clyde, and I believe Joe all were featured promptly in the new generation, of course, on the Sarah Jane Adventures. It just seems like a weird coinkydink, if you ask me. However, she's saying there's only 3 in their group left, still fighting this. And then she's cut off. And I admit this ending is a little disappointing because there's this robotic voice telling her to freeze, and then, we see the hologram humans, and we're tracking their signs, and we'll be able to teleport to their destination, and all humans must die. It felt just a tad generic of a villain, but it did amp up perfectly what they wanted to do. And that's where it ends. Hopefully we get some more clarification on that robotic voice at the end. I believe it might actually be Juno Dawson herself playing something called the Ravelox. It's in the credits, and there's no other mention of it, so that's what it has to be, right? But other than that, there's not much more I can put upon. I basically told you everything that there is in this, and I'm saying if this doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. You shouldn't have listened to me. You should have listened to that. But, like I said, Blind, June Dawson, the whole team, solid work the whole way through. And I'm interested in continuing into the next episode next Sunday. But I want to hear your thoughts below. So make sure that you comment what you love about the series. If you love anything, even if you don't love it, I want to hear your critiques too. Just put it down below. Make sure to also like and subscribe. Madman with the Box, we're putting out a lot of content for you, and we hope you enjoy it. We enjoy making it for you. Also, check out the links below. We have Twitters, we have all the social medias, all the links you'll ever need to get in touch with us, Madmen, and be on the lookout for whatever comes next. And for the final time, make sure to check out Doctor Who Redacted. You are seriously missing out. If you're a Doctor Who fan and you aren't listening to this series, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't. It's some of the best Who content we've had in at least the past 5 years. But that's all to be said. So Geronimo, Alonzi, all that jazz. See you next time. Goodbye.